Hey everyone! I've been wanting to talk about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for so long already. I'm at 60 hours? What the shit is that? 65 plus hours in the game. My fiance is at 40, 50, a little bit less, she's a bit busier than me at the moment. And I've been avoiding podcasts, I've been avoiding videos, I've even avoided going onto the Juices Loose podcast because I don't want to interact with people about the game, I don't want to hear discussions, I don't want to see other people talk about it, hear their experiences, because I want to try to avoid spoilers as much as possible. It doesn't change the fact that I want to talk about this shit, so here we go. Today I'm going to give you guys my top 5 worst things about Breath of the Wild. Now why I'm starting with this? Because I want to make a video about the top 5 greatest things about the game. But before I talk about the best shit, I gotta talk about the worst shit before people say I'm some kind of random shitty fanboy. Because no! I would not give Breath of the Wild a perfect 10. Because it does have issues. And I'm gonna talk about these issues right now. Now if you came here to hear complaints about frame rate, resolution, graphics, come on, I want to talk about video games. I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm not even gonna mention the god-awful popping, because that is something I hate. And Zelda really suffers from that. I'm not even gonna talk about any of that. This is all gonna be gameplay-wise things that I don't like about the game itself. I'm gonna start off instantly by the fact that you cannot register deer, elk, moose, bears, swines. The fact that you cannot even register a fucking stall horse. Why can you only register horses? I do not understand it for a game that is so about variety, that has so much freedom in it. I hate the fact that there's no choice in transportation. You can ride deers and moose, you can ride bears, you can even fucking ride stall horses. I love it, it is so amazing. Now yeah, they die when the sun rises, sure, but they could have found a way to make this work. The fact that you cannot register these animals, these creatures, I hate that. Because there's horses and there's so much traveling, so the fact that there's so much customization and freedom in the game, I hate it for the fact that you cannot register these creatures. It makes no sense to me, and it's such a lazy oversight to not have implemented this. Because of the fact that you can already ride these creatures, so why couldn't you register them? I rode Death for God's sake, that is fucking amazing! I really wish I could have saved the stall horse. It made me feel like playing fucking Darksiders, it was so good. This next point is something that doesn't just bother me, it is one of the main things that also bothers my fiance. And that is the fact that there's no diving in the game. You had diving in Ocarina of Time, underwater shit. You had diving in fucking A Link to the Past. So why can't you dive? I hate it for a game that is so much about exploration, so much about freedom. The fact that you cannot dive underwater. And one of the reasons I hate it so much was before the game came out, I was expecting like what you have in Morrowind. You dive underwater, you discover this underwater cave and these treasures out, these underwater areas. The fact is, you cannot dive. I just do not understand why they didn't do this. There's nothing to do with stamina, because I'm one of those people, I love the stamina, absolutely love the stamina. I love it, the element of strategy stamina adds to the game. When it comes to the running, to the fighting, to the climbing, stamina is incredible. I love it that it's in there. It makes you work with potions and recipes, and it makes you work on your rewards and the shrine quests so that you can build more stamina. It is a great strategic element. But why can't you dive? Why can't you dive? I've been looking forward to exploring underwater areas in this game, and it removes a whole vertical aspect of exploration by simply removing all of that, and I don't like that. And that brings me to a small minor complaint about this, is the fact that there's no caves in general. Like, I love it, and for example Morrowind or Skyrim, whatever, that there's caves you can go in, you can explore, and there's tombs, and you can discover these dark crypts, and there's nothing of that in Breath of the Wild. The fact that there's no caves is almost more inexcusable than the fact that you cannot dive. Everything there is to explore in the game, there's so much to do. Caves are natural things, and the fact that there's just none in the game, it just makes no fucking sense to me. Then there's the voice acting. Don't get me wrong, I love it that there's voice acting in the game. I love the voice acting. Even Zelda's voice has grown on me. But There are some voices like the Rook who sounds like a fucking retard, like a 80s cartoon reject. It is absolutely horrible. And that's not even the worst part I feel about the voice acting. First of all, why is there no choice? Why isn't Japanese language an option? Because the Japanese voices in the trailer sounded perfect, they sounded so good. That's already an issue. But that's not even my main issue. What I hate more than all of that is the fact that Link is still a silent protagonist. You have a game filled with voice acting, filled with emotion, and he just stands there like a fucking goddamn brick wall. There's a scene in the game where Link talks to a Zora girl, Mifa, and they're talking, and it's a very emotional scene, and it's very good, it's very nostalgic, and she's pouring her heart out to him. And he just sits there like a goddamn fucking stone. Because of the fact that Link doesn't talk, there's no interaction of his part, and because there's no interaction with him, there's no reaction. And when there's no reaction, there's no emotion, and it's just a dead conversation, and I hate that. There's no reason Link is not talking in this game. He should be talking. You cannot choose a name. He is Link by default. He's a preset character. Why isn't he talking? There's a lot of cooking in the game. There's a lot of cooking. It's very varied. You have dishes, you have elixirs, you have potions, you have all this shit. You have monster recipes, you have all... There's so much to cook. There's so many recipes, so many varieties, there's so many ingredients. There's so much to do. When you have a product that requires 3 items, one of them is the first page of your inventory. Then on the 5th page and the 8th page is another product. And you want to keep making this product every single fucking goddamn time while you're standing there, and this costs so much. This is such a waste of time. You have to pick the first product on the 1st page, on the 5th page, on the 8th page, you make it. You go back into the 1st page, to the 5th page, to the 8th page, you make it. Why isn't there a memory system incorporated when you cook in the recipe system? Why isn't there a recipe book? Not only that, if the game doesn't remember the recipes, if it doesn't have a memory system to stick to the items you were, an option to make the same recipe again that you've already been making, why isn't there like a recipe book that remembers shit either? The recipe system, it feels like it has such great intentions, but it's not worked out enough. It has not been simplified, it is not simple to use, and that's why it makes cooking annoying to do. And every single time when you make something, you have to look through your entire inventory, go through all the pages to gather the products, hold them, put them in a pan. You go back, you reset to the 1st page instantly, you have to pick all the products again. It is a fucking bullshit waste of time. And then the number one thing I hate the most in Breath of the Wild, the exploration in this game is amazing. You have the shrines, you have everything, but in the end, and this is not really a spoiler, they said this before the game came out already. There's only 4 dungeons in the game. We're not taking shrines into account. There's only 4 dungeons in the game. But Majora's Mask also only had 4 dungeons. But the difference here is, while each dungeon has a specific gimmick to them, they're all so short. There are literally shrine quests. There are shrines that take longer than some of these dungeons. You cannot call these dungeons. So my main issue is that there's no dungeons in the game. I did one of the dungeons already. I'm not going to say which one. I'm not going to say what it was about. It took me like 15, 20 minutes, and then I'm being generous. I had a shrine quest. I've been set at like half an hour. Some shrine quests are huge. But the dungeons, there's no dungeons. I hate it that there's no element specific dungeons. You have so many beautiful areas. You have swamps, snow, volcano, forest. When I got this game, what I was expecting most is to see what you had in Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask, and A Link to the Past. Even in fucking Skyward Sword, there were dungeons designed around the specific areas you were in, but now everything is a simple brick fucking goddamn wall, and it's all super mega tiny. No dungeons in this game is one of the worst things I feel about Breath of the Wild. So these were the 5 things I really hated most about Breath of the Wild. It is still a great game and it's still perfect, but I feel before I talk about what I love so much, I had to talk about what I hate so much. And of course there's a reason to all of that, because so many people give it a perfect 10 and other people give it a 0 because they didn't play the game. They're just so fucking salty that the game is doing so well. I love gaming, it's beautiful. But for me, it can get a perfect 10 for the reasons I just gave you and some extra reasons that I might talk about in the next video. But yeah, it's the fact that there's too many things that are actually wrong for me to give it. I would probably give it a 9. A 9 something when you take these issues into account, and the pop-in thing, which I really personally hate, and there are some issues that can't make this a perfect game for me. I cannot put this game, for example, as of now, I'm still playing it, above Majora's Mask. I could, for example, put it above Adventure of Link. I feel this could be my second favorite Zelda era, but no. It is lacking too much for it to be as good as it should be, as it could be. Still, this video might have been the salt layer upon your wound, I don't know. But next up we're gonna talk about the 5 greatest things about Breath of the Wild. The things that I feel are best about the game, that I love most. So it's coming right up, it's being uploaded instantly. These videos being uploaded at the same time, so you can instantly click on the next video. It is gonna be linked at the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching, continue watching, and stay real.